Hello and welcome to our stage 3 of our How to Draft series. Today we will cover the first few picks and their dynamics. If you've missed any of the previous parts, you can click in either of these corners to find the missing parts. The first few picks are very important as they are the foundation of the draft and of your team comp, so let's get right into it. First, the B1 pick. So this is either an OP pick or a heavily contested pick, and if that's not the case in the meta, it should be a flex pick. Remember, this champion can be drafted around by 5 counters of the enemy side, so in most cases this should not be the key pick for your draft or comp, and it should be able to be utilized in multiple different ways. Examples for a good first pick are usually champions with multiple modes, and white elements so they can't be penetrated too easily. Examples are champions like Udyr at the moment or Seraphine, who are in the OP category. And Udyr, for example, he does not perfectly utilize the first step here, but he has some key aspects of it inside of him and can utilize multiple approaches. Examples for first picks would be champions that are very linear and have enemy dependent conditions, for example Renekton or Aphelios. The R1 and R2 are a bit similar to the B1 pick in the sense that there will be 4 champions that can counter them on the enemy side. So again, they also should not be too conditional or too linear. A flex pick usually has these things under their belt. If they can be played in multiple lanes, they usually have multiple modes too. A flex pick also comes into play to hide your lanes, because remember, stable lanes are the foundation to your draft. Flex picks are one way to hide your strengths and straight up not get counterpicked in the other rotation. Another one to hide your lanes would be the match pick. For example, the enemy first pick jungle, then you pick jungle as well, to not only get the counter pick, but also not reveal an extra lane matchup. Of course, some exceptions to this rule of matching and flexing would be OPs. So if there are still OP champions open, then you surely can elect them at this point. Again, OP champions as well should not be too linear and too conditional in their game approach. Another example where this rule could be laid to the wayside if the enemy made a mistake. So if they picked a too conditional B1 pick, then you can begin to thematically layer around them, which means you pick champions countering in on a comp level. Examples would of course vary from situation to situation, and especially from B1 pick to B1 pick here. But good examples for flex picks or matches would be champions like Lilia, who doesn't only have a good clear at the moment, but also has multiple modes she can play in, so she's very versatile. And of course multiple flex champions like Karma and Gragas that can go in nearly up to 4 lanes at one point. The B2 and the B3 pick are a bit contrary to R1 and R2, as they can not only counter one champion but 2, so the beginning of the comp for the red side. So they can start answering the comp identity of red. If red has done a reactive start, meaning a flex pick and a match pick, they can surely match that as well and hide even more of their comp identity in these first stages here. If the red side has used a flex pick, you have to note that your counters to these flex picks should also be able to be flexed in the same or similar roles, or you can counter flex picks on a comp level. Also, something to keep in mind at this point is that you can draft around your B1 pick, so draft champions with similar game plans and similar color identities. But if the red side has already started to pick counter picks to that exact playstyle, then you can cut B1 out, like a rotten limb for example, before it infests the whole body. Example picks would be the same as for R1 and R2, but to add some more flex picks here, Cho'Gath, Morgana, Swain, Rumble, Poppy and even Vladimir or Zac can be elected here as flex picks that can go in up to 3 roles at least, and some of them even have different modes, and most of them have stable lane matchups. The R3 pick here can not only answer 3 enemy champions and can again be a match or flex pick, but this is a very special spot in the draft, as afterwards follow 2 and 4 bans, and the red side can pick right after the bans again. So this means there are quite some options here how you can utilize this very special pick position here with more active approaches than the reactive ones we have talked about before. You can pick an important champion for your players, a lane dominant or high comfort pick, or a cornerstone for your strategy. A champion that has clear strengths but is not infallible. So he has clear weaknesses that you can then cover with the additional bans. This is quite different to the B1 pick, for example, as there were the bans first and then the pick, as the bans can already kinda indicate the champion and the enemy can then respond with bans again, or in R1 and R2 double attack the enemy champion identity. The R3 champion can not only ban problems afterwards, which makes it already more difficult to react to for the blue side. They can also in R4 pick away the remaining counter picks or elect a champion that can either amplify the strengths of the R3 pick or again try to cover more of its weaknesses. Examples for this would be Senna, so you commit more to chilling and scaling. Then you ban champions like Varus and then elect a good fasting support in R4. Another example could be Graves. So he has multiple modes, but let's just say with the other picks you commit to a more aggressive and mid-game focused style. Then you ban safe mid laners or patch related counters to Graves in the jungle. And then you pick Syndra R4, a good mid-jungle duo, which is vital for Graves' success. Lastly, I want to mention there are more ways to go about red side drafting. In cases where the blue team blunders with their B1 pick most notably, in such cases you can overlook match picks for very powerful thematic counters. An example would be picking Azir on R1 into a B1 Aphelios. Yes, you do reveal your mid laner, but it's one with not too many counters in the meta, which means like most players are not playing the counters to your champion, and then conceptually Azir is denying the game plan that Aphelios has in its baseline. As such, the Azir pick is taking him out of the draft and out of the game already and very early on. These non-handshake approaches usually require on-stage adaptation, as you probably and you should have not prepared for the enemy to make such blunders. And also you need the necessary understanding and knowledge to recognize these mistakes and then to punish them accordingly with the right backhand slap with your champion choice. This covers stage number 3 now. Again, I have given examples for each pick on each spot, so I won't go over an exact example here, but if you want me to do that, just post it down in the comments. Maybe you have an exact draft that you have questions about. I'm sure to respond to that. On your way down there in the comments, you might pass the like button and push it, and also you might want to subscribe to not miss out on future content. This is it for today though. I wish you all a great day. Till next time, bye.